Good afternoon and welcome to the Joy Show, this place where we really honor that authentic expression, recognizing that there's just one you, might as well be the best you there is. So let us begin with a land acknowledgement as we start our show today. I'm excited to say that we work, live, and play on the historical and traditional territory of many Indigenous nations. And as we gather from many places on Turtle Island, we as settlers are grateful for the opportunity to meet here. And we thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years, including the Métis, Inuit, and all other Indigenous people. And though I'm not a person of African descent, I'm committed to continually acting in support of and in solidarity with Black communities, seeking freedom and reparative justice in light of the history and ongoing legacy of slavery that continues to impact Black communities in Canada and the United States. As part of this commitment, I would also like to acknowledge that not all people came to these lands as migrants and settlers. Specifically, I wish to acknowledge those who came here involuntarily, particularly those brought to these lands as a result of the transatlantic slave trade and slavery. In support of our ongoing efforts to confront anti-Black racism, we pay tribute to these ancestors of African origin and descent. We also acknowledge the contributions made by both in shaping and strengthening our communities and our countries. And by making this acknowledgement, we strive to be allies and to take an active part in reconciliation. We recognize our oneness, we realize our history, and we choose to create a new reality. We are one. Well, I'm so excited. My special guest today is Anne-Marie Warburton, and she has had a successful career in sales and marketing, and then took a leap of faith to follow her passion for jewelry and went back to school, graduating from the Gemological Institute of America, the world's leading authority on gems and jewelry, in 2007. Every year since graduation, she's studied with master jewelers throughout Canada and the US, taking in-person and online, during COVID, workshops to grow her skills as a designer and goldsmith. She opened Gallery Gemma Jewelry Arts in the Alton Mill Arts Center, an 800 square foot gallery showcasing one-of-a-kind designer jewelry for every budget. I've been there. It is phenomenal. Custom design is a focus for her many clients. We start with the custom design project from scratch, choosing diamonds, gems, and precious metals to create an original design, or use the client's family jewelry that has been inherited and recreating those pieces into something new and perfect for today. She is utterly passionate about jewelry design, gemstones, diamonds, and the whole industry. Her strength is connecting with her clients in a very real and honest way so that the jewelry created is exactly what they want. Welcome, Anne-Marie. I'm so delighted you decided to join me.
Thank you.
There's my son back. I have these beautiful windows, but every now and again it's too much. So I'm excited to hear a little bit about what caused that transition from sales and marketing into opening a gallery and creating this beautiful work that you create. What got you there?
Well, it's a good question, Barbara. I had a kind of career I think a lot of people are stuck in that they call the golden handcuffs, where I was making a lot of money, but I was not really doing my right work. And I had written an email to my oldest sister saying, at the end of an advertising campaign I just closed, saying, gosh, I never want to work that hard again. And she said, I wish I'd saved all the emails. Do you know how many times you've said that? And it's kind of that aha moment where you go, wait a minute, I'm killing myself here for money. And I'm not even passionate about what I do. So I started to investigate and found out that I could go to school online. I already had a degree from York University, but I could get a specialized degree in the jewelry industry. Now, today, you wouldn't think anything of that, but that was 20 years ago. And doing a degree online was brand new. People hadn't
Yes.
really started doing that. And so that began my path of changing. So I kept that job and I did my schooling. I had people from all over the world who were in my class and our classes. It was a 2-year program.
Yeah.
And that's what started it.
Wow. And what was the inspiration for opening up in Alton Mills? Like
Well, that
your
happened
store is
almost by
beautiful.
accident. Oh, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's,
Oh,
the owners are two brothers who spent $5 million restoring that old factory into an art center. And they've done a magnificent, well, they've won many awards for it.
yeah, it's beautiful.
I actually was going to open up in Collingwood at Blue Mountain in the whole new develop. At the time, it was brand new development there. And not once, but twice, the lease had to be put on hold by the developer, not me. And
Oh,
the first time, they had a huge tax issue where all the condominiums they sold were going to be taxed as hotels. So people were backing out of their
yes.
contract like crazy. So the developer had to put everything on hold and asked me to wait a year. So I thought, okay, universe, I'm clearly not ready, so I'll wait that year. And I continued to just dream about it and think about it. And sure enough, a year went by, the developer contacted me. And what's interesting about that development at Blue Mountain, it's kind of like Disney World. So there was
Mhm.
going to be a cafe here and a jewelry store there and a clothing store here. And they had no desire to let you move into another spot. You had to go in the spot they decided was going to be the jewelry store.
Okay.
So now it's time. We're ready to sign the lease. And they contact me again and say, Anne-Marie, we decided this is the perfect space for a model home for the condominiums. And so we're going to delay this a year, but you can keep all the upgrades. And so at this point, I say to myself, I don't think I belong here. I think there's
Yes.
somewhere else. And just coincidentally, the Alton Mill was starting this redevelopment into an arts center. It was actually closer to my home, and it it meant, my children were still young enough that they needed me to, you had to go meet the teachers, all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So it actually turned out to be sort of like the good news and the bad news. It turned out to be good in the short term, maybe not the best decision I ever made.
Well, it's interesting how, when things come up and you mentioned, the universe sort of sending you a message. And I think that's right. When we hit a block like that, obviously that's not the right place.
Right.
That whole Blue Mountain,
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, and you got that. You heard it. I mean, once is fine, twice, I don't know.
Yeah.
So now you've been
Exactly.
yeah. So you've been at Alton Mills now for how long?
16 years.
Okay.
And yeah. And
Yeah.
interestingly enough, when it started, they had only partially renovated the building. So about a third of the building was ready to go.
Mhm.
And that's where I moved in. And I'd never signed a commercial lease before, but one of my husband's clients is a commercial developer, like big time. And
Yeah.
I asked him if he would help me. I don't know how to read a lease. So he came, or I took it to him. He helped me. I sign off a 5-year lease.
Yeah.
I move in. Barbara, I'm the only one in the building.
Oh dear.
And
Okay.
I'm out in, yeah, as you know, this is out in the country. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful setting.
Yeah.
But at the time, not my wisest move. Well, a year went by, and I literally was succeeding on passion. I believed so firmly that what I was doing was the right thing. I loved even when it was all days and days would go by, I'd be all by myself.
Yeah.
And it just enthusiasm kept me going. Well,
Yeah.
after 1 year, my landlord called me and said, Anne-Marie, you wrote into the lease that if we weren't finished the renovations on the rest of the building after 1 year, you could walk away. What would you like to do? And I thought, well, clearly my husband's client wrote that into the contract because I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Well, I called him and asked him, I said, I don't know how to make this decision. Would you be willing to come here and help me? So one evening, this gentleman came to the Alton Mill. We walked around the village of Alton. We came back and we sat in my gallery, and he looked at me and he said, "Get out now." And
Oh.
I just couldn't do it. I just knew that it was going to be outstanding.
Yeah.
And in a way, he was right. What was a retailer doing in the middle of the country in an unfinished building in a small, wasn't even a town. It was like the village of Alton
Yeah.
in the town of Caledon. And Caledon is so spread out,
Yeah.
horse country farms, that kind of thing. So there were some tears shed over the next few years about, could I really succeed? Was I really in the right location? And this may be a longer answer than you were expecting, but often I'd go to Toronto and I'd say, what if I was here? What if I was there? And I'd look into things, and the lease was 10 times what I was paying. So it'd be $20,000 to lease 800 square feet in downtown Toronto.
Yeah.
And you hadn't sold anything yet. You hadn't hired an employee, hadn't bought any inventory, you hadn't paid your insurance, none of your overhead, and you already had $20,000 out. So I just wasn't in a position to do that. So
Yeah.
I stayed, and I'm so glad I did.
Sometimes it takes a minute, before things really sort of work out. I think sometimes we find our footing over time, and somehow that is the right thing.
Yeah.
So,
You know,
and your
Bob
place
Proctor
is
used
spectacular. Go ahead.
yeah, Bob Proctor used to say to me, "You're living your dream. It's just not fully realized yet."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that helped me so many times to realize what he was talking about. We have this big dream up here, but it's all the steps on the way there
Yeah.
that we think we should go from here to there immediately. And it doesn't quite work out that way.
It doesn't. And I think, when we do get closer to that real big dream, we start to realize the value of those little steps along the way, which prepared us to manage that bigger potential.
Well, I'm so in love with this phrase I heard on a K-drama that my daughter got me to watch. Sometimes the wrong train takes you to the right station.
I
And
love that.
isn't that fabulous? And that's how I
Yes.
feel about, starting there. And, you know, it wasn't the right place initially, but it became the right place. And not only that, oh my gosh, I just love what I do, and every day. And now, people coming from Toronto, people, somebody just picking up some custom pieces yesterday,
Yeah.
telling me he and his wife were at the Alton Mill and they heard me delivering a finished piece of jewelry to somebody. And then his wife said, "We're going to come back here and get something done for ourselves." And how wonderful is that?
That's beautiful. That's really, really beautiful because that's the thing, right? You are so passionate about what you do. You're so gifted and talented in what you do that it's really exciting to see that people are acknowledging that, and even just through a conversation, being inspired to come and check out what you're doing. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you've been, Nancy was telling me that you are now getting up on the Google searches and getting people from people just Googling engagement rings or whatever, they're finding you. That's exciting.
Well, the truth is I hired a company to put me up there in the rankings. And
Hmm.
the thing, when somebody comes from 2 hours away and you think, "How did they find me?" And wait a minute, "Oh, yeah, I pay a company to put me up there." And, so some of it, of course, is, uh, oh, I don't even know what the right word is, um, sort of like rankings that you get from people leaving great reviews and,
Right.
that sort of thing. And then me paying this company to keep me up there in the rankings too. But that one sale from that client paid for my whole hiring of that company for a year. So that made it
Wow.
really worthwhile. Yeah, it was really exciting.
Yeah. And odds are you're not going to have one client
Oh,
on
exactly.
Google, right?
Yeah,
Like people are going to be finding you over and over again, either word of mouth, but Google's going to be a really big one. I mean,
yeah,
where do we go when we want to know anything? We
exactly.
go to the Google. Like
And
it's
it's kind of like you you know as the owner, entrepreneur, this, Barbara. You start out doing everything yourself, and then
yes.
you're falling on your face, and you're getting exhausted, and you get sick, and
Yeah.
you have to start allocating things. And
Yeah.
because I came from a sales and marketing background that was very successful, I thought I should be doing all of that, and
Yeah.
realized what's actually selling in this gallery are things I make. And I love making them. I love people. I want to
Yeah.
start there. I
Yeah.
They just touch my heart so deeply when they
Yeah.
open up and share themselves with me. And I mean, the jewelry industry in itself, you're working with people at the most beautiful and saddest times of their lives. And
Yes.
I've had couples, I think of this one couple. He proposed to her out on the bridge going over the river at the Alton Mill. They came
Yeah.
into the gallery after she said yes, and then we designed wedding rings together. They got married, and then anniversaries and birthdays, he would come in and buy her something special. And then one day he came in and she had passed away. And he was devastated. Now, I'm talking about people in their 60s here. This is not a young
Yeah.
couple. And he had me remake her jewelry to give to her daughters, and then one thing for him. And when I was
Wow.
delivering those to him, to have him trust me enough to fall apart and cry in my arms. I mean, could you ask for a more beautiful way to make a living?
Well, I'll
It
tell
just
you, it
blows
sounds a little bit like mine,
it. You're
the
right.
weddings and the funerals and, the experiences that you have as you walk this life journey with people. It's fascinating. You're doing jewelry and I'm doing the weddings and memorials, but we're doing the same thing,
Yeah.
connecting to people at points where they're most joyful and most vulnerable.
Yes.
And that is really rewarding.
Yeah. And really, when I started my personal inner journey of growth and spirituality, I didn't expect that staying in the business, like, is that spiritual enough, what I'm doing? But I soon came to realize that I'm bringing joy to people in my own way. This is what
Yeah.
I was put on the earth for. Before I began doing this, I would be changing careers. Well, not so much careers, but jobs about every 5 years. I
Yeah.
always, I've always had a rationale. I'm getting a better position. This is more money. This is better. But there was this lack of satisfaction in my life, in my
Yeah.
career. I did love working, but it was just not right. And now, 16 years of the same store, through, come on, I had to close down for almost a year and a half out of those 2 years of
Correct.
lockdown.
Yeah.
Retail couldn't happen. And we
That's right.
still made it through. And 2022 had our best year ever.
Wow.
And our biggest January in 2023. So it's all, I feel like I really persevered,
Mhm.
but I also decided in that perseverance to stop pushing, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
That part of life where you're just thinking, oh, I got to make it happen. I got to make it happen. And instead I decided, I think I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to give it my best every day. And I think there's like a life force out there that's on my side.
Absolutely, there is. Absolutely. That's what I think a lot of us forget about is that we're so busy trying to push water uphill and and we're exhausted. We're gaining some ground, but we're not really experiencing any joy in that process. There's always some anxiety or whatever underlying it. But in the moment of surrender, where we just sit back and go, you know what? I'm doing what I love and I'm going to love what I'm doing and I'm going to just be my best self every day.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how everything seems to accelerate and we do less and yet we accomplish more.
Yeah, I know. And, don't you wish they taught stuff like this in school? But they
Oh, I
don't.
do. No, they don't. No. That's why, I spend time with my daughter and her friends. Her friends actually come and, have sleepovers at my house when she's not home because they want to talk to me about spirituality and stuff, right? I'm like, okay, it's just weird. But it's fun to know that they're interested in hearing this different perspective on life because their parents have one way of going, you got to do this and that and the other thing. And I'm saying, well, you need to find what brings you joy
Mhm.
and everything will fall into place. And
Yes.
that's new. That's not what we're taught, but we should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
time.
Of course, I'm of an age where they would actually, and maybe they still do this in school, tell you, oh, you can't do that, or oh, no, you'd never succeed at that, and shut you right down.
Yeah,
It's
they
it's
still do
heartbreaking.
that. Yeah, they'll even
Wow.
suggest to you, here's the careers where you can actually earn a good living. So, kids are getting degrees, and we know how many people have a degree and never use it. Look at those
Yes.
pendants. Is that gorgeous or what?
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah, your work, I mean, I've been in your store a couple of times, and every time I go in, I'm absolutely mesmerized by how unique the jewelry is. Like, it is truly spectacular. I don't somehow see it anywhere else. And that in and of itself is makes it sort of exciting to even make the trip out to Alton Mills, whether
Oh,
I buy
thank
anything
you.
or not. Just
Well, that was really the goal, Barbara, in the beginning, was to have a store. I mean, think about it. When you think of a jewelry store, you know exactly what you're going to walk in and see.
yes.
And I wanted to be different, and not for the sake of being different, but because I would go to places in the States or in Europe, and I think, why don't we see this exquisite designer jewelry? Why does everything look the same? And
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to bring to the table. What I didn't guess was that the work that I would create would become the best-selling work in the gallery. I always thought I would represent all these amazing other artists, and that would be what it was all about. And I think this experience of creating jewelry, of meeting with people and
Mhm.
listening to them and taking in what would bring them joy, what would they like to wear, and me creating that ended up bringing out the artist in me that I didn't even know was there. And it's just
Yes.
been uh, quite a ride from that perspective.
Well, and it's wonderful to, because I think when we start to express from our own authentic voice, when we find that thing that excites and delights us, I think the work that we do is so remarkable that people do fall in love with it. That's what they want to see. That's what they're looking for. So I think they're coming in wanting your designs, and you sort of tapping into this new creative energy sort of went hand in hand. It was a perfect experience. The
Right. Thank
expression of
you.
wonder. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I love
and you just never know where the inspiration is going to come from.
Yeah.
I went to a goldsmith conference in Providence, Rhode Island last June, and my goal when I went there was to come up with a line of jewelry that, although each piece is one of a kind, it's a collection. And it's so when you come into the gallery, you don't have to just have a custom piece made. There's lots and lots of choices in sterling silver and gold and platinum, but there's also fun things too, because we have a lot of tourists who come to the Alton Mill Art Center, and they're not expecting a fine jewelry store necessarily. So I want something fun for them to buy. So there's alternative metals and things for them. And when I was in Providence, I was struck by, I guess a conference like that of goldsmiths, everybody's showing off their most out there thing because we're all working on the same thing. And I kept thinking, well, I don't want to sell anything that looks like that. And I don't know, how am I going to get a collection out of the experience? But I let it sit with me. And out of that, I don't even know that I have a picture of it on my website yet, but came the Providence collection. And it's just named after the city itself.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I just had all these kind of eccentric petrified woods and unusual shapes of agates and all these things that were just perfect for this collection that I'd bought, and I never knew why I was buying them when I'd go to the gem shows. And they all worked, and now it's just been flying out of the gallery and people love it. And it also includes geometry and geometric shapes, which I love so much. It was the only math I could ever do in school was geometry.
Geometry.
Isn't that funny?
That's awesome.
And you have to be so precise in jewelry. You're always working in like 0.5 millimeter, 2 millimeters, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I do need math, turns out.
Good thing you passed that geometry class. It came in handy. Well, we're going to take a short commercial break, and don't go away, everybody. We will be right back with more great jewelry tidbits. Stay tuned. look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Welcome back to the Joy Show, and my guest, Anne-Marie Warburton, who's talking about her incredible gallery in Alton Mills. And so we were talking about the creation of these unique pieces and how your creativity just kind of happened. No mistake, I'm sure. So what is your hope moving forward in the next little while? What projects? You just got back from a buying trip in the US, and so you've got some interesting pieces, I'm sure. So any ideas starting to formulate as to what you're going to create next?
Well, that's a good question. Well, I just brought back so much. The jewelry show in Tucson, Arizona is an annual event where people from all over the world come to Tucson to buy and sell gems and jewelry. And it is very unique situation where there are 43 locations. So
Wow.
you're kind of seeing everything from like literally the rough stones out of a mine that somebody who cuts and polishes gems might buy to finished goods and everything in between. And so I'm being inspired on many, many levels. And I really was focused on the Providence collection a lot. How can I expand what I'm doing there? And I brought back some great pieces, very unique shapes and colorways. And, it blows my mind that these are part of nature. They're in the earth, and people, that we have these geodes that they're just tiny, like a little robin's egg, and you cut them in half, and inside they look like a cave full of crystals, and they're naturally occurring. Wow. So I made those, a group of those, into earrings when I started the Providence collection, and I realize I'm talking about something I'm not showing you at the moment. Yeah. But I'll do more of that. Pearls. Oh my gosh. Pearls are having such a moment for men and women. And I brought my son back a piece of carved red jade to wear. And there we go. There's a man in pearls. So nice. Red jade, I was attracted to it for him. And I didn't know why. And then when I went on the internet, it turns out red jade is the warrior gem, and it combats fear and doubts in you to move forward in your dreams. And when I gave it to him, he asked me isn't that wonderful? Yeah. If I would make him a strand of pearls and put this as the center bead, the red jade. So I'm going to do that for him.
Oh, that's all. I haven't even heard of red jade. I'm sure there's lots of stones.
Jade comes, we always think of like green jade, but it comes in white and lavender and red and sort of orangey kind of colors too. And there's probably even more that I don't know about. Often gems come in so many, like sapphires, we think of blue, but really there again, pink, yellow, orange, green, black, brown. Sapphires come in all those colors. And traditional jewelry stores would always stay with blue. Wow,
that's beautiful.
And diamonds come in champagne and chocolate and white and black and gray, and now salt and pepper. And so I'll be working with some new things there. I love the thought behind gems, whether it's true or not true, who know that they have certain powers, or I don't even know if that's the right word either, but um,
kind of an
that
energy
they
to
really
them. That's,
attract certain things. Yeah.
yeah.
So
What with this piece here, did you create that one we were just showing?
I did, yes.
It is
He
spectacular.
this young woman had been given that champagne diamond by her dad on a significant birthday, and she'd never done anything with it. And
Yeah.
then together we worked on that design for her.
So what is it set
Mm.
in?
It's set in rose gold.
Okay. Wow. It looks
Yeah, I would say
that,
it's a bit washed out. There may be some color correction on that image,
yeah, yeah.
and you sort
But
of
it's
see like
beautiful.
the inside edge of the ring is really the true color of rose gold.
Right.
A
Yeah.
beautiful ring.
It is absolutely gorgeous. I've never seen anything like it. I think that's what's interesting is that jewelry really should be a personal thing that reflects the person who wears it. But I think so often we run into a store and we grab something that, sort of catches our eye and, oh, it matches the color of a certain dress or something, rather than, purchasing jewelry that we actually spend some time to go, what do I love? What makes me joyful or what delights me when I wear it. That
It's so
ring
true.
is,
It's so true. And something I think men struggle with is getting it right. They come in and they're shy and slightly overwhelmed by the thought that she's just going to return it. And we work with them and first of all, if she's already been in, we have a whole record of everything she's ever bought herself.
yeah.
But also for help to help him to feel comfortable. We talk about her, and it's often asked to see a picture of her on his phone. And we can really help him to pick something that has a story to it that she'll be proud to wear, and it'll feel like a true reflection of her.
Oh,
And
that's awesome. Yeah.
we we do accept exchanges for a store credit, and we get so few of them, Barbara, that we almost have to re-educate ourselves how to do a return on our computer. So
How do I do this?
we're kind of proud of that.
But that's wonderful. That means you are taking the time, you're getting to know the client, and you are providing a service that doesn't require a refund, which is pretty
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
And I like the idea that you look at a photo because I think even, the shape of someone's face and things like that is going to determine what they should, the length of their neck. I've got some earrings that hang down to here, so obviously I don't wear them because my neck isn't long enough for them, right? I
yeah, yeah.
need a new neck for those earrings. But I think it's things like that that you don't necessarily think about when you're buying jewelry for somebody else. But when you
Mhm.
have someone like you who's kind of guiding you through, going, well, let me see a photo, let me see what this person looks like, you start to get a sense of them. Plus, with the
Exactly.
conversation, it's
Yeah.
remarkable what you can learn. Wow, that's a neat piece.
Well, that's a stack of rings. So
Stacked
there's one, two,
rings.
three, four rings on that stack. And
Wow,
yeah.
beautiful.
Thank
Now, what are
you.
the pink stones?
Pardon me. Those are
The pink,
pink sapphires,
okay. See,
and they're
yeah,
all
again,
different colors.
yeah. Like, when I
And
think of
bottom
sapphire, I always think blue, but you're right. It's
right, which is
the,
the bottom one. Yeah.
yeah, but the pink is stunning. Wow.
Thank you.
Well, I think, that, I look at my wedding rings, which I love, but they're so typical. It's like everybody has a ring that kind of looks like this one. And not that
Mhm.
there's anything wrong with that. Can't figure out where the camera is. There we go. But it's yeah, single stone with one on either side and a little gold band. And that's, I love it and it's great. And but I look at some of these pieces and I'm like, wow, now that's an exciting piece of jewelry.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like
that
that.
top ring,
Mhm.
her career, her work is she creates costumes for theater. So she couldn't have anything that would catch on fabric. And
Right.
so, you don't think about these things, but the person coming in saying, I want an engagement ring that isn't like everybody else's. In this case, that was her engagement ring. And then the wedding band that sat on one side had just a few diamonds on it to sort of balance out that top edge. But again, our goal here was to create a beautiful ring she could wear to work without harming any of the fabrics or catching on anything.
That is probably the most spectacular ring I've ever seen.
Oh, thank you. Well, interestingly enough, in the bottom photo, the lower right-hand corner, that oval aquamarine and diamond ring, that is a similar setting. And once, you just change the center stone and slightly move the diamonds, and you have a whole new look.
Yeah.
And the other aquamarine ring there is part of our bark collection, where we have the tree bark on the band, or making it look like that, we hope. And then the gem is set in a knot hole. So rather than a very clean, tidy, shall we say, bezel like the top dark blue one is, it has the feeling of a knot hole in a tree.
Wow.
And we do that in
so cool.
all the birthstones and that sort of thing.
So what is the most exciting thing for you when somebody new comes in? What do they bring, or what do they say that really gets you stoked?
Well, that's a good question. It's a good question. What does really get me stoked? I would say their desire to be open. That's the mayor's chain of office that they asked me to redo.
Beautiful.
For the town of Caledon. Clients fall into two categories. Some know exactly what they want, but they don't know how to get there. And so I can lead them through and be involved so technically that the ring, it's not always a ring. It could be earrings or a necklace or bracelet or a combination of all those things.
Yeah.
Or they'll say, all I know is what I don't want. I don't want this, and I don't want that, and I know I hate this, and I know I dislike that. And out of that, I can create what they do want.
Wow.
And it's a very interesting experience to sort of, once you take away all that they don't want, what's left is what they do want. And you may have noticed this, Barbara, with people, how often we'll say what we don't want. And I don't want any more of that. I don't want this, instead of rephrasing it to what I do want.
Yeah.
And so this is what I end up doing for people, is helping them see what they do want in the creations.
That's cool. I know I sold real estate for years, and people don't know what they want until they walk in and see it. That was the thing I found so often. There was a standard line in real estate that buyers are liars. And it's not that they're liars, it's like they don't know what they want, and they'll tell you for certain, I don't want this, and this, and then 9 times out of 10, they'll walk into a house and go, oh my God, this is it. And you're thinking, wait a minute, you said you didn't want a 2-story, you wanted a bungalow. This is a 2-story. What's going on here? But it's like the minute you come home, So, it's wonderful to be able to listen to people's commentary and get a sense of what they're actually saying to you.
Yeah.
And from there go, okay, let me just tweak out.
Well, there's some trust involved in there as well. And something will happen when I'm drawing. So I do a combination of hand sketching and CAD drawings, computer animated design. And when I'm doing my hand drawings, often a thought will come in my head, and I'll say, why would I ever incorporate that into a design? But I'll put it in, and the person will say, that reminds me of my mother, or oh my gosh, that is the day we got married. Like just the craziest of coincidence. But it's trusting that listening that's going on in myself. I've interviewed you, we've had meeting, and now I'm taking away all the components and getting it ready and starting to sketch and thinking, like, where did that come from? But I'll give you an example. I'm working on a design right now, and this person sort of feels like her past life, she wants to leave that behind, and she feels so full of hope for the future. And we have 5 diamonds that we've taken out of old pieces of jewelry that is going in the new, that are sort of represent where she's going. But I was thinking there, oh my God, she had triplets. We have to have 3 small diamonds in the past to represent those triplets. And again, this is like, I'm just driving along in my car when, boom, this idea comes into my head.
Well, and it's, that inspiration is so important. And I think, my husband's a comedic actor, and he'll call that gifts from the comedy gods when he gets them because it's something funny. I'll get those moments in a memorial service or a wedding, just some flash of something drops in. And if I'm comfortable, sharing it, because sometimes I hesitate, especially with funerals, like, should I really say that? But that inspiration is so clear. It's so right on, and it's always right.
Yeah. Isn't that so? And it comes up in the designs too, Barbara, and you just think you're a little bit crazy. Did I just hear that? Where did that come from? But it turns out to be the perfect grace note in a design.
It's the thing that makes it really theirs. The person who's buying it. There's something about trusting that process. And I think, that's probably one of the great messages of life, to turn around and begin to trust the process and to listen to that still small voice within us, because at some level we're all connected. And if we listen, we will get insight that would never have come at any other time or for any other person, right? It's specific to the thing you're doing at that moment, which is really powerful.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. So what's next for you? Like, what plans have you got for your business moving forward? Oh, you've got this jewelry bracelet making class. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I really rely on people to come to me for that. If they have 4 people, can be a great bridal party, get together, or just, a group of people who want to spend a few hours together and leave with something really meaningful. It's lots of fun.
That sounds amazing. Now, how long does that class? So that's what, about a 3-hour class? Am I seeing that?
Theoretically, it's a 3-hour class. There's usually, it's just like school, right? There's usually somebody who's the kid who goes to the head of class. There's somebody who's struggling, and then everybody else in between. And so I time it so if they need more time, or if they want to go off and have a girls' lunch together and come back, there's different things you can do. It doesn't have to be 10:30 to 1:30, for example. It's all personalized to the group.
Oh, that's wonderful. And that, when you think about it, when you get married, you always like to pick up a gift for your attendants. This would be a wonderful, wonderful gift to come in with your bridal party.
Exactly. Spend time together and leave with something meaningful. And you can't really see it in that picture, but each one of those bracelets has a person's initials on it. So it's very personalized.
I love
and we've had
that.
many times people will come and say, I'm going to make a bracelet for somebody else for a gift. And at the end of the class, well, maybe I'll keep this. It's much more meaningful than I thought.
Yeah, well, that's what's really cool. This really excites me. I'm going to have to share this with my wedding officiants to sit back and say, if your brides are ever looking for what to do for their attendance, here is something that would just be a lifelong gift, not just the time, but then the piece of jewelry as a memory. I
Hmm.
love it.
Thank you.
I
Thank
think
you.
it's very creative. That's very beautiful. I have not heard of anybody else doing that, so
And they get to
that is,
spend the day at the beautiful Alton Mill Arts Center, which is very
oh,
gorgeous.
it is. And there's great little
Yeah.
cafes there in Elton Mills that are
Yeah.
nice to go to. I've been there a couple of times and wow. Well, it's very exciting what you're doing. And I love that you're so passionate about it because I think,
Thank you.
one of the things that creates fulfillment in our lives is doing something we love. Because when we're
Hmm.
doing stuff we love, we don't get tired, we don't get bored.
It's
Uh,
so true. Like waking up in the morning and you're just jumping out of bed, ready to rock and roll and get going, and nothing better, more fulfilling, and sort of it's filling up my cup, and yet at the same time I'm filling up the cup of the people that my clients. So I just love that.
Yeah, that's a pretty remarkable thing to be able to say that. And I think that's what I think challenges a lot of people in the world today is that people work to earn a living. And I don't think that's the right reason to work. I mean, yes, we all need to have money to buy food and shelter and all that good stuff for sure. But, I know so many people who, when living their passion, they actually earn more and have a greater time doing it
Hmm.
than what they were doing prior to. Like I worked in advertising for years and hated it. Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, blah, blah, blah. It
Right,
was
right.
and
And
getting out of
and
that
then you
was
go out and get drunk after work because you that's the most fun of the part of the day. So
that's exactly
now,
what I would do.
yeah, yeah, it's just a whole different world. And my husband totally supported me, which I'm forever grateful in that transition, from a six-figure income to am, am I even going to make it here? And
Yeah,
I mean, when I say supported me, I don't mean financially because I had money saved to do it. Was emotionally,
yeah.
he believed in me when I couldn't even believe in myself.
You're a cheerleader.
Yeah,
The one
exactly.
who
I
says,
mean,
"Yes, honey, yes, you can."
yeah, yeah,
That shoulder when you need it. My husband is the same way because I
yeah.
do things that oftentimes it's like but I love it, so I just keep doing it because I love it so much, and he's right there beside me every step of the way and doing whatever because I can work very long hours. He will do whatever's necessary around the house to ensure that I can do what I do. So I
Oh,
think,
that's
having
wonderful.
a
Yeah.
relationship like that is truly a gift. And you did that for you.
Mhm. Yes,
You found
absolutely.
you found the right person, the one who could just say yes, yes. So as we're coming up to our last couple of minutes, what one thing would you like to share with the viewers about, what's important in sort of picking out or creating that perfect piece of jewelry, especially from the jewelry of, a family member who's passed or whatever. What would you suggest?
Well, I'd say, first of all, you don't have to know. You can just bring it in, and it doesn't cost anything to meet with me and sit down and look at things and come up with some ideas. And then if you feel like I'm the right person for the job, we'll go forward from there. But
Yeah.
oftentimes people don't know what's possible,
Mhm.
and they're afraid to even ask, to look stupid. And you're not, how would you know? How would you know? So I
Yeah.
would say, give us a call, come in, and let's see if there's potential. Sometimes the piece of jewelry cannot be reused per se. Sometimes it can be repaired, resized, and you're wearing the actual ring. Sometimes we're going to take it all apart and start from scratch. What I would say is, I know that whoever left that piece of jewelry to you wants you to enjoy it. They don't want it to sit in a jewelry box or in a safety deposit box because you think you can't make changes. They left it to you to enjoy and to wear. And it should reflect both of you now. Or sometimes it's grandma's this and my aunt's that and my mom's something else, or my dad's. Just something that was picked up yesterday was her father's ring. And for her 30th birthday, he had me take it apart and make her a necklace and pair of earrings out of his ring.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I
Yeah,
love that. So I think that, that's a great takeaway. Just, bring in what you have and what it means to you, and leave it up to the
exactly.
master here, who will turn it into a work of art for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, I'm so glad you joined today. And there's just been some really terrific little high points here that I'm so excited about. And I'm really hopeful that some people who are watching will choose to check out your website and go down and meet with you. And even, if you're getting married, I want you to consider having your bridal party go and have a fun day in Alton Mills. Well,
Thank
this
you
has been
so
a real
much.
joy. Yeah,
Yes,
thank you.
absolutely. Thank you,
Thank
Barbara.
you. Thank you so much. Well, everybody, you're watching The Joy Show. My guest today, Anne-Marie, and her store, Gallery Gemma, the website, gallerygemma.com. And be sure to check it out and do shop. Go shop. Go shop. You'll be glad you did. She's got every price range you
Thank
can
you so
imagine.
much. All right.
All right, everybody, have a most wonderful week. Know that I love you and appreciate you, and that there is just one you. Everybody else is taken, so just live your life. Blessings, everyone. Bye, Anne-Marie.
Bye. Bye-bye.
On behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate. New Thought Media Network. Come be you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace and blessings.